So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, uh, those who are joining from South Asia. I welcome you all for today's e-conference on accelerating Industry 4.0 and digital transformation for Indian chemical industry. This is being organized by Indian Chemical News, India's #1 portal focusing on chemicals, petrochemicals, and energy sector. The presenting partner for today's e-conference is AVEVA. I am your host and moderator for today's e-conference. Next slide, please. The speaker for today's e-conference, Mr. Subhash, CISO and Head Enterprise Architect, DFPCL, Deepak Fertilizer Petrochemical Corporation Limited. He is a visionary leader with exceptional command over cutting-edge technology and business strategies, renowned for turnaround expertise across automotive, pharma, chemical, and manufacturing sectors. His expertise lies in developing strategic plans for global digital transformation, building high-performance teams, and implementing best practices methodologies. He has successfully led cross-functional teams with diverse technical and cultural backgrounds, fostering innovation and collaboration. Mr. Atul Govil, Chief Transformation Officer, Head SHP and IT, India Glycols Limited. He has a strong practical domain experience in IT, OT, and usage of IoT in operational excellence and supply chain aspects. He has run multiple business transformation projects to increase profitability and process automation in manufacturing domain. He's a graduate engineer with dual degree in marketing and HR management. I welcome Mr. Atul Govil to this e-conference. Mr. Rajesh Tripathi, Senior VP Projects, Engineering and IT, SRF Limited. He is currently heading complete project and engineering function and engineering procurement of specialty chemical business at SRF Limited. He has been working with SRF SRF since 2002 and recently received the prestigious SRF Ratna Award. He is an engineering graduate from National Institute of Technology, Surat. Welcome, Mr. Rajesh Tripathi. Mr. Krishnakumar Pandey, Head IT, Epsilon Carbon Private Limited. He has over 26 years of experience in IT strategies, digital transformation, enterprise architecture, ERP, cloud, security, analytics, cyber security, IT management, and infrastructure development. He has made significant contributions to organizations like UPL Limited, Piramal Enterprise Limited, Larsen & Toubro, and Central Depository Services India. He holds Master in Business Administration in Information Technology and Bachelor's of Engineering in Electronics from University of Bombay. Welcome, sir. Mr. Partha, Senior General Manager, Technology, Haldia Petrochemicals Limited. He has over 34 years of experience in petrochemicals, chemicals, and plastic. His responsibility includes new age idea, synthesis within group companies, selection and appraisal of new projects for HPL and its subsidiaries, handling and / executing process automation and digital collaboration portfolio of Haldia Petrochemical Complex and providing technical services for Haldia plant. He is skilled in technology selection, design configuration setting, project appraisal and feasibility on integrated value chain studies, process engineering, process optimization, energy, and benchmarking studies. Welcome, Partha, sir. Mr. Naveen Kumar, Vice President, Chemical Segment, AVEVA. He has 36 plus years of experience across industry, supporting customers in investment planning, profit improvement, digital transformation, and sustainability initiatives. In his current role, Naveen is responsible for driving global growth of chemicals, natural resources, and manufacturing industry segments for AVEVA. A key focus is to help AVEVA customers derive value and support from them in their net zero journey through digital transformation. He is based in Singapore and holds a degree in chemical engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, New Delhi. Next slide. The key discussion points that we are planning to cover in this panel discussion are developing digital infrastructure, collaboration and partnership, implementation of automation and IoT, utilizing artificial intelligence and machine learning, achieving operational excellence, ensuring safe and efficient operations, data-driven decision-making, enhancing skill sets, and focus on sustainability. Next slide. So we have this IC and play and win context that we will be running during the course of this e-conference. Just about the contest, I shall be asking questions from the audience during the course of the session, and the one who responds first with the correct answer stands eligible for winning ₹1,000 gift voucher from Amazon. All the questions will be asked by the moderator of the session, and the replies needs to be given in the chat window. I repeat, the replies need to be given in the chat window box of your respective screen on Zoom platform. Final winners to be announced at the end of the conference today at 4 p.m. Terms and conditions: only the person with the correct answer responding first in order of priority shall be declared winner. Organizers and sponsor partner employees are not eligible to participate in the contest. Organizers' decision to be treated as final in case of any discrepancies, and gift vouchers to be sent electronically to all the winners post completion of the session. Just a brief, next slide. Just a brief about Indian Chemical News stats. We are having a page views of 148,760, users 80,000, newsletter goes to 49,000, open rate 30%, click rate 7%. LinkedIn followers is 73,066 when I made the slide. Presently, it is 73,110. So with this, I end my presentation, and now I will request Mr. Naveen Kumar, Vice President Chemical Segment AVEVA, to give his presentation. So over to Mr. Naveen Kumar, Vice President Chemical Segment AVEVA.
Thank you, Pravin, and welcome all the guests to this session on accelerating Industry 4.0 and digital transformation for Indian chemical industry. Just wanted to confirm, you can see my screen at this point of time along with the laser pointer.
Yes, we are able to see, sir.
Okay. This is a short presentation, and in this short presentation, I want to cover a few things. A little bit about AVEVA background, talk about industry trends that we follow and we typically would be including in any discussions that we have with the industry players. Then, as as part of this panel discussion and preparation, we actually did a survey. The Indian Chemical News team sent out an online survey. Some people have replied to that, and we compiled that results. I'll run you through those results. We'll talk about a little bit on our customer successes in the areas that you have provided your inputs on the survey and digital transformation. A little bit about Connect, which is AVEVA platform, cloud platform for data sharing, AI, visualization, and so on. And lastly, just a mention of our upcoming industry conference in Paris in October called AVEVA World. So let me start with a background on AVEVA. AVEVA is a leader in sustainable industrial platform and software. We combine the world-leading industrial data management with AI-infused software. We built this more than 50 years of expertise. AVEVA today is a wholly independent company, but we are owned by Schneider. So we are a subsidiary of Schneider, but a complete legal and independent entity. We were earlier listed on London Stock Exchange, but went private last year, January. Our recurring revenue is growing by more than 10%. We are expert in cloud and hybrid cloud applications. And finally, we are an open and agnostic, trusted by world's leading companies from energy, infrastructure, manufacturing, pharmaceutical, and chemicals. A little bit on the history of the company, and you would see three parallel tracks on this slide. We started in 1967 with what I would call as SIMSci, and that grew to be part of Schneider Electric Software. It went to Invensys, which was acquired by Schneider Electric Software, and there are a number of products that come from that family, which includes Wonderware SCADA. Some of you are familiar with Pro2, which is our simulation software. We have MES. We also acquired a company called Spiral, which is into unified supply chain. So we do refinery planning through that. The other chain that you see on this track is one which was founded in Cambridge University in around the same time, 67. And it was initially called the CAD Center, which has now evolved into AVEVA. This was a public listed company. And at this point of time in 2018, Schneider acquired AVEVA and we merged into AVEVA, and the combined entity was called AVEVA. The third line that you see here is OSI Soft. This is the company which is one of the largest players in data historians and enterprise data infrastructure, with roughly about 40% of market share. This is a company that was acquired by AVEVA in 2021, and today all three businesses are part of AVEVA, as we call it. And as I mentioned earlier, last year, January, we became part of Schneider Electric, where Schneider Electric now owns 100% of our equity, but we are an independent company. Now, there are different things that we have done, but most importantly, I think I would talk about is in all the three journeys, we have talked about cloud transformation. It came in here through AVEVA Connect. It came in here through Cloud Asset Information Management, Cloud Unified Engineering, Cloud Unified Supply Chain. And then we have clouded AVEVA Data Hub and Cloud UOC. And today we're calling it Connect, which I would touch towards the end part of my presentation. At a glance, we have more than 10 R&D centers, 6,500 employees, 4,300 SI partners, a large R&D capacity with almost 16% of revenue going back into R&D. But I just want to touch upon, our presence in India. In India, we have roughly almost, just under 1,000 engineers. 43% of our global R&D capacity is based in India, which contributes to more than 70% of our products, as well as maintains 24/7 monitoring of all our cloud solutions across the world. We have a delivery center, which is in Hyderabad, where we have roughly about 225 to 30 experts, which is roughly about 30% of our global delivery capacity. And we have expertise here in energy, power, chemicals, infrastructure, smart cities, consumer goods, F&B, and marine. And a lot of business that we do, especially on the HMI SCADA, is done through channel partners. So a lot of time, it is possible that you may be using a solution from us, but you may not be aware that it's actually coming from AVEVA. With that background, I want to move on a little bit onto industry trends for chemicals. So starting from the left-hand side, I think we are seeing a significant impact of global events and geopolitical instability on the chemical industry. And how the companies are responding is about proactively managing the risk in response to constantly changing geopolitical, regulatory, and market scenarios. There is an element here where you need to integrate and balance your value chain and collaborate with the ecosystem for better integration. The other trend we see is industry is moving to low carbon. There is a significant effort towards decarbonizing operations while increasing the circularity of supply chain and reduce waste. Practically every company has declared their target net zero for operations, and clean hydrogen as well as carbon capture and storage projects are part of this. There is advancement happening in biofuels, ammonia, and synthetic fuels. And then there is an investment in new products to reduce waste and improve circularity. Digital and artificial intelligence are important for the future of chemical industry, and the data is becoming an important feedstock for innovation and operational excellence. And I'm using the word feedstock here because this industry is very familiar with this term, and I think I'll talk about a little bit as part of the survey because it's also suffering because of the cost of the feedstock. When we look at specifically the India market, there's some very specific challenges for India. The petrochemical utilization rates are still not at probably full. We are looking at adding practically 1 million ton of naphtha cracking capacity or ethylene capacity every year. But because of the significant new capacity coming in China, it has reduced the global demand. There is a need for effective carbon management to stay competitive. And finally, there is a need to diversify feedstock to move towards biodegradable and circular products. And if I summarize that into pathways, we are looking at 4 different things. One is larger focus on efficiency. chemistry as a service, optionality creation, and stronger commitment to sustainability. And when I talk about optionality creation, this covers all the different gamuts. This could be your value chain, this could be your service providers, your feedstock, your markets, and everything. You know, to be looking at, you know, how can I have more options to be able to drive value and remain competitive in long term. So if I just change that and put into a different view, what I've done on this slide is on the left-hand side, we're talking about 4 different themes, which I talked about briefly earlier. And on the top side, we are saying, okay, the focus today is improving operations. Then we go to the building the maximum performance and finally look at building a better future. So when you talk about connected workforce, we have a challenge of attracting the new generation because the new generation is not willing to come and work in the remote places where most of the chemical industry is. And they may be, you know, needing AI-based guidance from the day-to-day work because they haven't spent enough time in the industry to get trained. And then in future, we are looking at training the workforce and build competence. When you look at production excellence, you talk about improving production execution, ensuring quality, improving visibility of production chain to increase agility. And in the future, you're looking at innovative processes to improve competitiveness. When you talk about decarbonization, and I've spoken and discussed this subject at various forums, one of the things is a significant amount of technology is required to get to net zero don't even exist. The other is if you have to modernize plant and increase the mix of green energy, that's going to take time because it requires capex, it requires a new build. So the low-hanging fruit here is always better monitor and reduce energy and fuel consumption. This is an area where there are certain projects that we evaluate where we don't see enough ROI. And I think we need to start bringing in carbon as an element in those calculations to see which projects will become viable when I include the cost of the carbon. Finally, circularity. I think what we can do very simply today is to reduce raw material waste and improve the use of natural resources and increase collaboration across our ecosystem. But then as new processes become available, we can start focusing on new processes to increase the recycled content. With that, I move on to the survey. So this is an online survey that was sent out to individuals in the Indian Chemical News database. And they are primarily from the Indian chemical industry. It's a small sample size, but I think it's directionally consistent with our understanding, and we thought it'll be good to include this as a precursor to the discussion that we would have in the second part of this conference. So first one was, what were your company's top priorities for operational excellence in the next 12 months? And no surprises here, the more sustainable operation coming out on the top with 66% of respondents saying, this is the top priority, and optimization, production, and increased productivity at 59%. Significantly here, the data management infrastructure scores very low because we're talking about a company's top priority. When I look at the second question, which was based on your experience, what was the greatest industry challenge? Here, sustainability is one, but here the transition to net zero drops below because the bread and butter issues come out on top. The raw material prices, the supply chain logistics, customer requirements, energy prices, they all take precedence over transition to net zero because that's what you deal with on an everyday basis. The next question was, which software solution your company is currently using to achieve operational excellence? And here, the data management was the top with 59% of people responding that that's what they're using. And the next two biggest were process simulation, operations and production optimization. Asset performance, which is talked about a lot as something of a low-hanging fruit, came in at 28%. The machine learning, enterprise visualization, and data sharing, only 17% responded, This is what they are doing today for operational excellence. What is the main use of data that you collect? Run operational analysis for continuous improvement, 93%. Share data with internal and external stakeholders, 52%. And maybe the asset performance coming here at 52% was something that was balancing this part out. The other question we asked here was, what are the possible roadblocks in optimizing your data? The topmost was multiple solutions from different vendors, inconsistent model across the enterprise, siloed operation, right? But then there was another one which was pretty good here, which says niche tools and technologies which are not scalable. So you're going out and working with partners who are very niche, who are very specialized in an area. You do a project with them, which is highly valuable, good ROI, but you're not able to scale that. Last slide on survey results. We talked about, okay, can you rate the initiatives in order of priority to address your operational challenges and move forward in the digital journey? Eliminate data silos and increase visibility across sites got first priority by 17%. Improve remote operations was 21%. Implement AI solution was 25%. Increase digital solution at 17%, and improve hardware. So it was overall, I would say, a sort of a balanced one. But when I look at combining the priority 1, 2, and 3, because sometimes, when people give responses, it is, in that moment, what they feel is the highest value. I see the eliminate data silos and increase visibility getting almost 70% in the first 3 priorities, right? And I think that's also the focus of a discussion. And I think my fellow panelists would be talking about this as well. And the last 2 questions are operational process standardized across your firm. Yes, each process is standardized across the whole organization. 59%, partially 21, and 17 said no. And then how would you describe the company's digital journey? In process, 45%, in the beginning, 31%, advanced stage, 7%, mature, none, which I think is a fair response because there is always something more to do when you talk about the digital transformation. So with that, I will move on to a few success stories from AVEVA, and I want you to be careful because Pravin ji hinted at a quiz, and if you're not careful, you may not be able to get the answers right. Okay. So the first, I will start with AVEVA Pi, which is one of our software tools that we have, or I would say a data infrastructure solution that comes to AVEVA from the OSI acquisition. And the important thing is it's not just a data archive or a historian. It's just much more than that. Typically, when we talk about historian, that's only this part, which is data archive, optimized storage, and access to massive volumes of data. But we talk about an asset framework, which is contextualizing the data, and you start about talking about pumps. It brings all the pump-related data, the analytics of that. Then you get into event frames, which it helps you identify when a certain batch finished or when an important event happened. And then associated with that is also notifications, where you send out notifications to different people. The other part of this is enterprise scale. We have customers who have these historians, which are 5 million data tags, 6 million, 8 million. So it's really, you can bring the whole enterprise together from multiple locations here. A few customer successes, and these customer successes are across all the solutions that AVEVA offered. So I'll start with very quickly, very, very high level. Eastman Chemicals, we're working with them on engineering design. It's a new circular plus circularity project they were building. They were able to reduce 30% reduction in engineering and design cost. We have worked with BASF on workforce empowerment, where we have delivered augmented reality rollout at 400 plus plant with 200 plus end users. So this was a very, very big program with them. With Nutrient, we have worked with them on better cross-stream collaboration using shared data. SCGC in Thailand, we have achieved 100% reliability performance in less than 12 months across value chain. So the solution here is we call it as a digital reliability, and it has many different elements, including predictive analytics, digital twin, engineering digital twin, visualization, which we call as UOC, and so on. Covestro is a PI customer for the last 20 plus years, and they have seen 30% reduction in energy since 2005 and 39% reduction of emissions since then, directly contributing towards their sustainability and net zero efforts. The other case study I have here, and these were presented only last year at AVEVA World, or in the last 1 year, we have some press releases from them. So first one is Wacker Chemi. They have deployed our unified engineering and point count manager on AVEVA Connect. This helped them improve the operational efficiency and reduce the administrative time and effort significantly. And this is the cloud-based storage, which gives them access to the engineering digital twin from across the world. Alba Mare is a massive PI implementation, which is used to manage the data feed and a lot of other advanced tools. They presented last year at AVEVA World talking about 50 million in a year in estimated annual improvements and 1 million a year savings in OE improvements, 75% reduction in environmental incidents, 50 tons of downstream emission reduced. This 50 million number, I've been in discussion with them. I'm expecting them to present in one of our other forums very soon, is going to be significantly higher. I cannot talk about it because I don't have approval, but the number today is significantly higher. Talking about Covestro again, they have leveraged our process simulation solution and bank of process models to rapidly build and iterate the models for commercial and technical viability of bio-based polymers, right? So this is, getting really into circularity and reducing, getting to the green feedstock. Then Elchem has used our Unified Operations Center, or UOC, as a single centralized platform to visualize operation and unify 11 different control rooms across its site into one, enabling a sustainable operation. And UOC has also been used by ADNOC, where they brought data, UOC or Unified Operations Center, from 14 different opcos into a single control room. So this is a visual. This is the 150 feet by 10 feet wide wall, where they're getting more than 10,000 tags, 100,000 tags, sorry, expanding to more than 2 million, and data from 14 different opcos. And needless to say, all of this data is coming in from different systems, and they were able to bring it together. Last part of my presentation is around Connect. This is a new launch that we have done recently. It's an industrial intelligence platform. Multiple elements. It provides a unified experience to manage all the AVEVA cloud and on-premise applications. It can help you aggregate, contextualize, and share real-time industrial data with your partners and other stakeholders. You decide what data you want to share with whom. So it's not like it's free for all. You decide. First is you have an on-prem server. You decide what data you want to take to the cloud, and then whom do you want to share it with. Then you can visualize the data using self-service and predefined dashboards. You combine data with AI for faster and smarter decisions, or you can share data with your ecosystem with other partners. One of the things I would mention here is, you would notice we have removed the word AVEVA. We are trying to build it as an industry agnostic industrial intelligence platform. So you could build your own app and push data as well here. And that's what we call as the last part, where we say expand your ecosystem. Two simple examples of how people have used this data. I want to start with the right, which is a simpler example for everyone to appreciate. This is international group in the US. They make specialty wax, and they partnered with Lytix, which is an AI company. They use the Connect platform to share the data in real time with Lytix, who was able to do the analysis using AI tools that they have and provide feedback on the best operating conditions, by using which IGI was able to reduce waste and off-spec processing, resulting in $10+ million of annual incremental profit. Hen is a different example. It's a company which has an IP. They're an automotive part manufacturer, but they don't have manufacturing facility. So they had people who were manufacturing for them. Then they were giving these equipments or parts to automotive manufacturers, and they were able to assign a tag, associate the data with a sort of a batch number to be able to fully track through their value chain how a component was being manufactured, what conditions it was manufactured in, and how they were able to utilize it later. One more point I would mention here is when we are bringing into Connect and doing the transformation of, we're also doing the transformation of data so that it becomes ready for an AI application. Typically, any historian data would be timestamp. We are able to change that to have maybe a temperature as an x-axis so that you can take it to an AI, analyze it. Last slide. Just an invitation to all of you to come to AVEVA World. This is an industry conference in Paris from October 14 to 17. We expect more than 2,500 attendees, a number of breakout sessions. You can see, go to the AVEVA World website and see the agenda there. But just for chemicals, we have already confirmed speakers from BASF, Covestro, Wacker Chemi, and Empower. Overall, the conference will have 126 breakout sessions over 2 days. There is a separate chemical track, there is a separate AVEVA Pi track, and a number of roundtable and panel discussion. That's all for me, Prashantji. Over to you, back to you for the panel discussion.
Thank you, Naveen ji, for an interesting presentation. And one slide which caught my attention was with respect to 66% opting for sustainable operations and 59% for optimized production. So an optimized production cannot happen unless and until we do this digital transformation, and now opening it for the panel discussion. The topic for today's panel discussion is Accelerating Industry 4.0 and Digital Transformation for Indian Chemical Industry. So both these points of 66% for sustainable operations and 59% of optimized production will be taken care when we discuss this in a detail through 3 rounds of that we will be having. We have with us Subhash ji from DFPCL, Atul ji, India Glycols, Rajesh ji from SRF, Krishnakumar ji from Epsilon Carbon, Partha ji from HPL, Naveen ji from AVEVA. So let me start with, I would request all of you to be precise and stick to the time. I would request an introductory remark from all our speakers. 60 seconds to start with Subhash ji from DFPCL.
Okay. Yes, hello all. I am Subhash Punjabi from Deepak Fertilisers. I am very much happy to be here and share my knowledge and learn from other industry experts. First of all, I want to give one disclaimer that the opinions and insights shared by me during this panel discussion reflects to my personal and professional experience. These do not necessarily represent the official stance of this present organization, employer, or any other affiliates. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, thank you, Subhash ji. Your 60 seconds, Atul ji.
Yeah, hi. So my name is Atul Govil and I work for India Glycols. So we are a listed company, roughly 8,000 crores turnover annually. And now I drive digital and transformation initiatives for the company, and it's a pleasure to be here. And today's theme, in chemicals, petrochemical industry, the need of the hour is how do we digitalize, keeping in view the ROI aspects also, because whatever we do has to dial into the economics of the investment also. So that's the broad theme, and happy to share my experiences and thoughts and also learn from fellow panelists.
Thanks, Atul ji. Rajesh ji, if you can add your inputs, introductory remarks.
So, hello everyone. I am Rajesh Tripathi from SRF Limited, and I handle here project engineering transformation to digitalization from manufacturing side, from function side. So what our earlier panelists said, that something derived from IT side, but something from the function. So the key is the cost economics. Otherwise, it would have been very easy for everyone. So during the discussion, we will focus on that.
Thank you, sir. Krishnakumar ji, your views, sir. We can't hear you, sir. You can unmute yourself.
Unmuted. Hi, this is Krishnakumar Pandey. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I head IT function for Epsilon Carbon. I have around 26 years of experience, of which 6 years into IT consulting and around 20 years in manufacturing industry. I don't want to implement just technology for sake of it unless and until there's a value. So I look for the technology to bring transformation to the organization and provide strategic value. And I'm really excited to be part of this panel discussion and look forward for learning from all of you to take it ahead.
Thanks, Krishnakumar ji. Partha ji, your views.
Very good afternoon to all of you. Today, this particular event is very, very appropriate, and it is under the current context. Really, the world is in a different order. I can say there is a global turmoil. US is under severe debt trap. De-dollarization is happening. BRICS is coming up. And there is a bipartite trade is happening. As a result, what is happening? The chemical sector, which is the backbone of globally, it is in between 20 to 25% is reshaping. So we'll be talking more on that line. I'll be able to happy to, contribute and share my insight as every other participant said. So it is a personal opinion. We keep it to the larger interest of the conference and for the insightful discussion we'll have going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Partha ji. Naveen ji, your views, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Pravin ji. I think first of all, really a pleasure and honor to be with this group of leading people from the chemical industry in India. In my role, I do work with chemical companies around the world. So one of the things I'm able to do is, first of all, I think every interaction for me with every customer is a learning opportunity because while we are facing the same pressures, the dynamics in each geography and market are different. And I think I'll concur with Atul ji mentioned, and I think you all probably agree that we cannot implement anything if it doesn't give an ROI, right? So one of the things that I do in my role is focus on value, helping people find value. And I think I strongly, differentiate between digitalization and digital transformation, where you need to look at not only the technology, but also look at the business processes or change in business process to drive that value. So happy to be here and happy to learn from my fellow panelists and contribute my thoughts from, my experience from around the world.
Thank you, Naveen ji. With this introductory remark, I now move to the panel discussion and open it up to all the other panelists. What we have done is we have done 6 questions. So I will try to ask these questions to our panelists and get their views. If you have any questions, please put down these questions or write those in the chat window, and we will take it up after the panel discussion is over. In the meanwhile, after say 2-3 questions, we will get the quiz part. So I will request Saurav and his team to display this whenever I give a go ahead. To start with, my first question to Partha ji and Rajesh ji. This is about the perception with respect to Indian chemical markets progress towards digital transformation. So what is the perception? That's the first part. And how can companies overcome the challenges to reach the predicted potential? So first to Partha ji and then to Rajesh ji.
Very good afternoon once again. I think here is the very important part, the context that I raised in the initial comments which I have made. So it is very pertinent that, there are 3 things happening as a result of that. The first is economic power is shifting heavily towards the, the end user side. So there is another, on the top of it, there is a digitalization that every company is taking up. there is a circularity and the sustainability issues, and there is industry 4.0. All these things put together, companies need to think actually what way they want to moving ahead to capitalize the largest benefits. The first is the business model. They need to think how that they are going to shape up, what kind of roadmap they are planning, and how fast they are accelerating this progress. It is digital in every aspect of the business that the organization runs. So while doing that, three major themes which I think comes in my mind. One is the innovation-led growth that each company is going to aspire. Second is, the performance-led, cost optimization, the second tier. The third is the most vital is the sustainability and circularity. So if you want to really, each company want to really capitalize on that, there is a larger set coming from where, at what we see Indian context, more and more companies, they have rather, and that also happened to us space-wise. What we have done actually, we have done the very basically the systematically the low-hanging fruits, where where you can immediately gain the advantage, automating the basic things like the overall monitoring part, from the digital infrastructure, the database. How can you really populate the kind of the production numbers, the safety part of it, then the gate systems, the video analytics and all that. Really, how you are basically going into the first phase that we did that. Going forward, it is a much harder things to do, basically in the areas, little bit of moving ahead on the optimization part. I'll put it this way, the machine learning exercise, where really how the critical machines are really you can utilize to monitor so that our overall downtime goes down. So a kind of alerts that gives us to the systems, smaller areas as a pilot, that really helped us. Now coming here to the challenges, it is really, each company need to see where they are to come up so that they can get the maximum benefit out of it. First is comes, are you really a passively, if I say 5 by 5 on a scale, 5 by 5 matrix, one is the passively digital stage, I call it reactive. Second is you are trying to do that the anticipate, exploring the digital. Third is that doing digital, it is like, we are integrating. The first is becoming digital. That is, I call it, the collaboration phase, and gradually moving up. And fifth is the being digital, where you are the orchestrating, means you are orchestrating the entire journey. So if that is in the envelope, then you take, there are the user side, you have the user experience first. Second is the employee, the talent management. Third is how that, the optimization and the reliability that you maximize in the process of enablement. And fourth is how the molecule management, how the entire value chain you are really nurturing and what value you are getting. And finally, the ecosystem that you are building. If you really try to plan it and map these through, so step by step, you need to go up. So this is where the digital maturity comes in. So it starts with the very zero and then step by step scale up. That would be the kind of exercise that each and every organization would like to really enroll to get a better benefit and the realized value that step by step that will happen. That will not happen overnight. It takes maybe years to reach there. So we are, as an Indian company, I think we are largely on the easiest thing to really capture first, then basically moving into the higher orders step by step in coming years. Thank you. I think it makes sense.
Thank you, Partha ji. I would request Rajesh ji if you can elaborate on this part on what Partha ji has already said.
So good afternoon, everyone. I will be a little bit, more technical on the chemical background. So 3 questions. One is the perception, second is the challenge, and third is to overcome the challenge. So if I leave the petrochemicals apart, because they are advanced in digitization journey, if you go to the other chemical industries, their perception on digitization and data acquisition or data analytics is that it will improve my productivity and somehow it may improve my little bit efficiency also. That's all. But going into the detail, if you know these two are outcome, the journey is a little bit different, and we as an SRF, we are experiencing it because it is mine is not a complete automatic plant. It is not a continuous plant. It's a batch process. So this is also another perception that batch processes, where batch by batch you have 500 reactions, how to do the digitization, what cost, whether it is cost effective or not, whether it will make me some sense or not. And when the companies approach to the different partners, there are many consultants and different partners, they find it more complex because these companies have evolved over a period of time, maybe 20-30 years. They have a different system. One plant is working on a different system, another plant on a different system. Their QA analysis on a different Excel sheets. Their operation, some plants may be on SCADA, some may be on DCS, some may be having a historian without any analytics, and some may not. Now, this complete knowledge, how to do it in a way that you can connect to all these sources and generate a meaningful analysis, how to increase the productivity, how to increase your batch cycle time, how to improve your quality, it's not available in one window. And within organization, there is a limited knowledge. So there are IT persons who drive normally. There are functional experts who doesn't understand the other part. So I'm talking about right now perception and the challenges the company face. This is the journey which, if you see the companies abroad, even I will say the example of some Chinese companies who learned from abroad, maybe the European companies, they have done in a very, very systematic way. Now, why we need to do it? Why Indian company need to do it? Post-COVID, during the COVID, people have seen that a lot of chemical is being shifted from China to India. The customer want a lot of product from us, and we have sold. But in last 1.5 years, if you see, the dumping from the China are so much that you are not able to meet the cost. Why? Because despite my raw material cost is same, my operational cost is high. And manually, it is not possible further to reduce your operational cost. So biggest challenge to the Indian companies nowadays comes, who are the person, who are the agencies, who can guide me through this journey through a cost-effective way. You cannot replace your DCS, you cannot replace your SCADA system, you cannot replace your historian system. And in a plant, there may be 5 types of DCS. Now there are solutions available that, one historian can talk to all the DCS. Okay, so what about the QA result? What about the raw material result? What about the equipment breakdown? Whether all are connected to one? So these are the questions which people face and not able to utilize the full potential of the plant, which can generate another 15 to 20% EBIT to them. At the same time, they are unable to see that what is my ROI on this? What is my investment? Are we going to the right people? So if I correctly said the two things, the perception of the challenges, the overcome to the challenges are complete thinking, which may be covered in the rest of the questions, complete thinking on data and the recipe mode. So people, in the audience, able to connect it, what is recipe mode? So if you see the plant abroad, they don't run on manual mode. So if you see the batch process, there are 100 of people required. If you have 20 plants, you may be needing around 1,000 people also. I'm leaving around the petrochemicals, they all are automatic. Batch process, where there is a manual charging of the material after every batch. Then during the batch, you take the sample. After the result of the sample, you take the batch to another cycle, all manual process. Unless you have a complete automation and recipe mode, the problem the Indian company is facing, that who run these batch? Where is the skill set? Your batch depends on the skill of that operator. There is a band of the plant operation has been given. Within that band, people can run or people can overshoot also. So the kind of skill needed, I think everybody knows that skill is not available now at that scale. We are making 3% of the chemicals of the world requirement. Only 3%. China is at 28 to 30%. So 3 to 6% means how much skilled manpower you need. And with manual intervention, there are bound to be manual errors. So going to the recipe mode is a solution, yes. What is the challenge in that? What is the cost of recipe mode? Because everything you require for a recipe mode, you have to import. You have to import a control valve, you have to import an on-off valve, you have to import many control systems. Now, cost of import is very high. And Indian companies have not developed so much that they can provide you this automation at a low cost. That is a major challenge for the Indian chemical companies. How to make this recipe mode and data acquisition cost effective. Everything when you import, you becomes so capex heavily. You can't afford at that point of time. So here the innovation is required. Innovation means you will have to make these products within our country. And they're not very hi-fi. They're not very heavy, tech savvy that you cannot make it. So I think the key challenge is okay, but the key countermeasures are lot of reverse engineering and focus on the cost so that people can think how to make it cost effective, how can run their plant on an auto mode, recipe mode. And the third things comes complete data acquisition, starting from DCS is a very common, all other parameters coming to a one window where you can do your analytics, you can improve your BCTs, you can improve your yields, which can result into a good cost saving in your organization.
Thanks, Rajesh, for your views. Now I move to the second part, which is on the technology. Here we are referring to IoT, AI, ML, digital twin, and others. What would be their role in the advancement of the Indian chemical market and its usage in chemical companies? Subhash ji, your views, followed by Atul ji, Rajesh ji, and Partha ji. You have to unmute yourself, sir, Subhash ji.
Sorry. Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone, once again. So as other panelists already told this, that Industry 4.0 or digital transformation or smart factory, these are the synonyms, is nowadays mandatory for all chemical industries. What we have seen. Earlier, we used to say that this is optional, but now it is not, because as the competitive edge is there. Without this, the companies, the organization will be irrelevant in the coming years. They may sustain for the next 2, 3, 4 years, but then they may get irrelevant in the market. So I think this is the first part that everyone has to go ahead, and I believe that near about everyone is on this journey. When we talk about these technologies, so Industry 4.0 itself says that it is a connected. So when we say the connecting the shop floor to top floor, what do you mean by this? That collecting all types of data to one centralized place, maybe in the historian, various types of historians are there. We should curve, we should see the trends. All that things are required. So for that, when we talk about technology, when we talk about Internet of Things, that IoT, which comes into picture, which gives you the lead to have all acquire that all data, whichever is in your machines or your various other equipments from where you need to have data. And when we talk about everybody is already agree to this point, saying that AI ML is coming up, and it's not only a buzzword, but it is the fact now, and people are utilizing that, and it is must to have. But without data, you can't have anything called AI ML for us, or we can do that, because when you say ML, it's a machine learning. So how it learns? It learns with the train, it learns with the data, it learns with the pattern. So that comes like, so it's the foundation. It is a foundation of your any digital transformation, which is your data, and that will come through for a shop floor. It will come only through your IoT devices. So IoT is a functional part or foundation part for it, and then we collect that data to one of the central things. And in our chemical, we talk about the historians where we can have this data. And already, I think Naveen has shown how it is getting used. And there are other tools also which gives you all this data. Now we collect various data points when we talk about the temperature, pressure, flow rates, pH, humidity, various all parameters. When we collect it, we get that. Then we can know the trends of it, where these parameters can be used for their machine learning purpose. Because when we say data is coming, that data is humongous. But if we keep just that data, it is not useful for us. To get the data insights, we need something. So we talk about the big data, we talk about the analytics, we talk, and on that analytics and all that things, we do some modeling. That is, we talk artificial intelligence model. Then on that model, it gets learned. It learns the things and our model gets matured enough. So what the main use cases when we say, and why people are using AI ML are mainly for the theme, what the panel discussion is here is, you are optimizing your production, optimizing the means reducing the downtime and the product cost, optimizing the product cost, which are the major things what we are seeing here in this particular thing. So cost of production means the uptime we talk, correct? And on that basis, when our models are there, it is getting tuned, automatically learned, and it gets done. So, and the model totally depends, the accuracy of model totally depends on the data. The high the data, the old data, whatever we can say the data frequency and all that thing. So we should have some platform which should get all this data in one place and give us the trend of it. And we can work on it, get various other parameters or analytics from that particular solution. That is the major thing. So we talk about the AI ML where we say, and also one more thing what we have seen now are the connected workers. We already seen. So we know that in our organizations, various time there are various use cases from connected workers also. But one is the best use case what we see is that when we have some issues in our plants or on shop floors, we can use these connected workers to get help from experts from outside. So these are the tools which we can utilize it and we can get help. Also, various things which are happening in our shop floor, which are as of now on paper, that can be digitalized, and we can get everything on that particular digital module, which will give us the more insight of what is happening. Because when we are having something on paper, that will not give you that insights. But it's on paper, and it is in the siloed way. So if it is there, we can use it. Another topic, another tool, what we say is the digital twin. Now, which is very, very nicely we can use it for in the chemical manufacturing is for your trainings. Well, we not say hazardous environment. So if you have got that, other than there are various use cases. I'm saying one of the use cases suppose we want to have some trainings for it, training modules, and we can use digital twin for it. We can use that for various optimizing the greater operational efficiency, enhancing safety. So if we are doing that, we are the new users, when they are getting enrolled in our organization, we can give them training without going to the shop floor because they are not trained, and we can train them in the simulated manner. Then innovations, if we want to drive some innovation that are very much useful for us, and they will get various things into it. That are the major things what I can see. If we can use these tools, we can definitely get hands-on, we can say the upper hand in our competitive edge, and we can utilize all these tools for this. But basic thing is the data. Thank you.
Thank you, Subhash. Atul, your views, sir.
Sorry, am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Great. No, I think much aspects have been covered by Subhash and the previous participants. My thought on this topic is, if I have to engage with our business leaders, they are not keen to understand what Industry 4.0 is, 4.0 is, or what is IoT and more. Their core focus, or in our or in any manufacturing setup, particularly in chemicals, what we need to understand is we are extremely heavy on the resources which we consume, be it the plant assets or be it the raw material. So if you figure out most manufacturing setups like ours, chemicals, petrochemical products, you would have a very high COGS, which is the cost of goods sold, and which means that there is always a need to improve efficiency so that you get higher yields, higher throughput from the same set of assets. Doing so, you are able to defer your capital cost in terms of additional capex to when you need to expand to meet the growing demand. So that's one. So there has always been a need to improve efficiency, reduce cost, and then finally, till so far we've been talking about these topics, but in addition, considering the green footprint which is expected from companies like us, we also need to look at aspects of reduced energy consumption. When I say reduced energy consumption, I'm not talking just about the absolute number, but also the specific energy consumption. So like for every kilogram of output, of a particular output or of a particular finished goods, how then can you optimize on the energy being consumed? That is one. Then there is another aspect around the product quality, which is like how do you get products first time right? So these are themes which have been there forever, but now with technologies like the IoTs of the world, the smart connected factory themes, which in our setup we did to our advantage. We completed one major project just before COVID start, and it helped us navigate the COVID issue, and we were able to maintain our operations because of the availability of remote connectivity to the control systems which was available to us. So that is the broad theme. But now today, it's not a question like Subhash also mentioned. Most of us, most CXOs believe that they've been in existence, the company has been in existence for the last 30, 40 years. So there is another headroom for another 20, 30 years like this only. I want to call out one thing very clearly, that the current age workforce, the millennials, so to say, they do not want to work on mundane, repetitive stuff. They are not interested to work on repetitive work, go out, do checklisting, do manual observations or everything. Everything they want to do is through their mobiles, through their devices. Okay, most of it. That's how they have been wired. They are digital natives, so they want that experience. Now imagine if you were to hire someone, and get them in the workforce and tell them to work on these aspects the legacy way. They will not like to work for such an organization. So it's not just for us to basically drive technology for the growth of the company, but also to make sure that we remain relevant for the future workforce or the current workforce, so to say. That is one theme. Second is, you have to also see that we keep talking about AI, generative AI, people are talking about it, and now people are talking about agentic AI, okay, graphs and agentic AI. And here I would like to just call out for all participants. So we need to cut the noise from all of this hype which is there. So we need to differentiate between what's new and what's true. Of course, there are every 3 months, you hear about OpenAI launching one or the other model. Okay, some LLMs being launched by Gemini, Googles of the world. But what is important is how does all of this link to our working? Now, I want to call out that we did some project on advanced process control way back. At that point of time, we did not use AI. It was all rule based. But we derived significant advantage in our process using that APC implementation for one of our large process control plant. in today's date and time, you have to understand that no, whatever operations are being monitored through SCADA systems, PLCs, DCS, if you have a supervisory assessment wherein you have KPIs defining that if the turbine efficiency is going down, then is the equipment maintenance a factor, or is the steam quality a factor, or the extraction or the downstream temperature control, or what is the issue? And to do it on a real-time basis, that's the key essence. Because what happens today is in the process team, they work on they continue working. Then at the end of the shift, there is someone who would make a log report that this went wrong and we tried to do this. But if you have something which can dial back and maybe to an extent predict, or at least prompt that, no, why don't you look at these 7 things, which is humanly not possible to monitor 100 parameters simultaneously. You can monitor 5, 6, 7, 8, but monitoring 100 parameters with the 100% rigor 24/7, it's not humanly possible. So it is about how do you leverage AI, not just in customer orientation, not just in your product design, but also in real-time applications. It need not be autonomous today. It need not be autonomous. It still can feedback with the human in the loop. But that's the key and that's the essence we need to look at. And companies who choose to overlook this and continue to work the legacy way are, or may possibly, I'm completely wrong, may possibly see extinction in the next 3 to 5 years horizon. So it's important that all participants today who are there, they need to understand how does this technology can bring difference. And I've shared my LinkedIn connect also. We are happy to connect separately to see and maybe work together to drive this initiative at a larger scale.
Thank you, Atul ji. Since we are running short of time, I would request all my panelists to be short and precise. So I would request Rajesh ji and Partha ji to elaborate on the technology part and its usage in chemical companies. We start with Rajesh ji.
So I think I would just like to add what Mr. Subhash and Atul ji told to the participants, that technology adoption in today's time is not an option, it is a compulsion. The way we used to operate the plant, we cannot operate the plant in the same way in future. Competition will kill us, will kill all those companies who will still work the old-fashioned way. Now, to give a few examples of what IIoT or the data point is there, I'll take my own company example. We were different 4 years back, and last 4-year journey is completely different. And I think everybody can sense this. We used to do certain projects, IIoT projects, in a year 5 to 6 in single-digit number. Why? Because data has to be collected. And everybody knows if you have 500 reactions, suppose you have 20 plants, each plant have 20 reactions, so you have 500 reactions. For each project, if you want to collect the data, you'll have to go to the complete logbooks, generate that data. And data has to come from 3-4 formats separately. QA analysis, RM analysis, operating data from DCS, equipment breakdowns, any other observations. You collect it and then you hire an agency. Normally, now you have your own competency, you hire agency, give that project to them. They took 2 to 3 months and then they say, this is the best operating data to run this plant. They have found a golden batch and they have guided you, and then you run the plant on that. What you have done, out of 500 reaction, 1 reaction you have completed with the optimum parameters, which can give you a better cycle time, better efficiency, better energy. By the time you move to 3 or 4, there are other variations happening in this one also and others also. Not possible that you can transform, complete your all the plants in 1 or 2 or 3 years in this way. And that's why the importance of data has come. That data has to be available immediately, whatever is required for the data analytics. when we adopted certain kind of data, I will not say historian, but a complete system, it has completely transformed the things which we used to say, completely different. Now, it is not that I select or anybody select where I want to do a optimization product. The system can tell you out of these 500, these 40 numbers have maximum variations. In these 40 numbers, you have a batch cycle time of 15 hours also and 11 hours also. And wherever the 4 hours taken long, this is the analysis. Just see the parameter. These are the observation. Standard deviation has changed. Upper limit has changed. So I meant to say the technology adoption will transform the company. There is no doubt about it. People will find that within those assets, they can generate 15 to 20% more. This is what is our experience. Thank you.
To Partha ji.
What I add to this is, the technology selection is specific to a company where they are in. So I'll simply put it like this: IoT, your AI, ML, digital twin, process simulation. So if you really go by very specific use case and see what kind of merits you get it, what kind of involvement, the challenges that is coming in, and sort of POC, that gives a very good kind of grip on the system and celebrate. Rather than, it's a very specific and company, the top management, that the entire system alignment is necessary. So one thing, easiest way to first, you must have the history and the database, which is very, very fundamental for doing anything and everything. And once you do that, then comes in the IoT, wherever, the different legacy systems, to what extent you can bring in, and you have to step by step really phase out and bring in those kind of advancement with time. That is the way you really bring in the system so that you can move on to the next higher level. So when you have come to that stage, the digital twin was one of the things that I call it is the most vital and easy to use and gives a lot of insights. See, what is important here, you are trying to bring in the physical system into a digital. Then once again, then the digital you are bringing to physical, and thereby some amount of algorithms and understanding analytics you are once again putting into the system. So this system in a nutshell, how do you do it, and what best way, what kind of with observations you bring in, systems become mature over time. That gives it a lot of hell and heaven difference, because in digital twin you can do is you can conceptualize first, you can compare, and then you can collaborate. Collaboration on the real time happening on the shop floor versus your observation and the analytics part of it. So in the process, you can really scale up step by step to the other areas. So small section, then to the subsection, then to the particular plant, and to the complex. That is the way you can scale up. And as far as the artificial intelligence is concerned, it is very, very promising, I'll say, like a very simple thing, that takes a lot of time, it's difficult, it's a lot of maturity, lot of database. With time, and you will be able to reach there. Like what we see, when there is a flight delayed, your flight is delayed by 30 minutes. That kind of scenario you can get. There is a bearing, there is a high temperature coming. Instead of going into that, some kind of alerts coming automatically. There's a reactor, delta P has gone up. There is a temperature, out of 10, temperature 5 is moving in one direction, 2 are moving in other direction. There is a supply chain. The ship is stuck somewhere. My truck has got stuck here. So that kind of information gives you a lot of insights to take a corrective action in real time. That's what is really, with time, organization need to move in. That's my take. It's all technology. So I'm not mentioning in a specific, but step by step you can mature and move into that direction.
Thank you, Partha ji. Now we come to Krishnakumar ji. And let me have his views on how chemical companies achieve operational excellence through digital technologies. with examples, if you can talk about how your company has achieved operational excellence.
Operational excellence in the manufacturing organization involves process optimization, involves efficiency, involves reducing cost, and improving safety and sustainability. I will share a few of my examples because the digital technology is playing very pivotal role in terms of operational excellence for any organization. So, even Partha talked about like putting IoT sensors on the critical equipment to predict their failure so that we can save both planned and unplanned downtime. That is something, very easy for any organization to do and implement. The other area where AI is really helping in terms of improving the demand forecast accuracy, because it needs data from multiple sources. It needs history sales data, it needs market trends. So all this data with the AI model, if you improve your accuracy, it will help us to reduce the overall cost of logistic. It will help us to reduce the cost of inventory. So this is another example. And third example is most of the organizations are adopting robots to automate the routine mundane jobs and improve the efficiency on the shop floor. So every digital journey or the operational excellence journey needs data. Data is the important soil, and it takes maximum time for the organization to build it. And if you have a good data, your prediction, forecast, accuracy, everything will be good. If you have a bad data, then it will not give you the desired outcome. So that's a few examples I want to share on the operational excellence.
Thank you, Krishnakumar ji. Let me take the first question with respect to ICN play and win contest. And I will request Saurav if you can display that question on the screen. My only request is please type in your answers in the chat window box of your respective screen on Zoom platform. So my first question, the first is from the success stories presented, what is the name of the customer using AVEVA process simulation for developing and commercializing new biopolymers? A, Nutrient, B, Evonik, C, Covestro, and D, Alchem. I request all delegates to please type in their answers in the chat window. Question number 2. From the success stories presented, what is the name of the AVEVA product solution being used by Albemarle, which has resulted in savings in excess of $50 million, including initiatives related to sustainability and net zero commitments? A, AVEVA process simulation, B, AVEVA PI system, C, AVEVA Unified Operations Center, and D, AVEVA Unified Supply Chain. From the success stories presented, what is the name of the solution where AVEVA has deployed a central command center, bringing data from multiple sites, multiple systems together on a single video wall with drill down capabilities? A, AVEVA process simulation, B, AVEVA PI system, C, AVEVA Unified Operations Center, and D, AVEVA Unified Supply Chain. So with this, we have come to the end of our ICN play and win contest. Move to the fourth part of the question, which is data is becoming an important feedstock for innovation and operational excellence. And how does your organization currently use data for decision making, and what roadblocks do you currently face in optimizing data for ensuring safe and efficient operations? To start with, Subhash ji and then Naveen ji. I would request all of you to make your deliberations short, because we have already reached 3:54 and we are only at the fourth question. So over to Subhash ji and then.
So short, and it's, I will say that, as I already mentioned, without data, we can't do anything. Data is the foundation of this. So we use data here. So we have got historian in place. We are with AVEVA PI, and we use these for operational efficiencies, mainly in the predictive maintenance, process optimizations. Very, very heavily we are using that. Then we have got a quality control also, where we use this for real-time monitoring, and then the safety. For safety, it has got a very good use case, because when we say that the parameters, how they are running, and as per the AI we have given to you, and from AI perspective, we will know that how they are working and what will happen next, so that we can take action before that. Also, it is getting used for our mainly for the predictions of maintenance, that is uptime. That is very heavily getting used as of now at our place. As I said, then if you see that why and what type of roadblocks are there or faced, challenges faced when we have to do is that the data sufficiency. Which when you say what all data we require, that data sufficiency so that I talk about the IoT. So if somewhere we are not getting that data, so we have to plug the IoT device and get that data. So data sufficiency, data accuracy is also very important because when we say we have got multiple flow meters, but flow meters, are they giving the correct result? Are they calibrated properly? Are the things? Then we also face the problems of siloed data. Data is there, but it is not getting, we have not got into the central thing. And then we are not getting the proper result from it. So that are the, and cultural barriers were there, which are taken care, but it is the thing, it are the challenges normally all organizations are facing about it. And to overcome all these type of roadblocks, organizations need to invest in robust data management system. So where they can get the result from our, we can say the industry 4.0 or digitalization systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Subhash. I request views from Naveen ji on this.
Yeah, thank you, Pravin ji, and thank you, Subhash, for that, very good explanation of where you're using it. I don't come from an operating company, so I'll talk our perspective, and I would take help of the survey that we did around roadblocks. So I think if I go back to the survey, the things that we heard in the survey around roadblocks were multiple solutions from different vendors, inconsistent data, siloed operations, and Subhash also mentioned similar things, right? Sometimes you're not able to get the data, data accuracy. So a couple of things that I would mention. So the platform that AVEVA offers is an enterprise data infrastructure. It's a hybrid cloud. And one of the elements of that is the edge data store. So we can take data from the edge directly into a historian through a cloud. And we use sometimes what we call as store and forward. So it takes care of the network latency or the redundancy issues as well. You don't need a continuous connectivity and store the data where it is, but also forward it to a central database to be used later on. The other thing we do is we are using simulation to augment the data as well as find sometimes erroneous data. So as you would understand, you talk about a pump or a compressor, there are multiple measurements and they're all thermodynamically correlated. So you could use a simulation tool to see which of the data points is correct. And sometimes where you don't have enough sensors, you can also use simulation to act as a soft sensor for that. And we have done projects around the world, which we call as predictive asset optimization, combining those two tools, and they're very, very successful projects. One more thing we talk about was the accuracy of data. I think if you come to any of the PI community, different people have done things differently to look at the data and how do they correct data. But we are also working with some of our partners where they are using AI tools to identify and help you fix bad data. And some of these tools are working at scale where we have they have been able to get them to work at historians which are millions of tags together. So we're not talking about just using asset framework to do something at a smaller scale, but something at really at a very high scale. One advantage of bringing the data together from multiple sites is you are able to compare. Rajesh, you talked about a lot of reactors. Sometimes these reactors are doing the same thing, but there are different sites. So if I'm able to bring those parameters together onto one single screen, I can very clearly see what is happening at one site versus what is happening at another site. And just that can provide me, useful intelligence on where I need to improve. Last but not the least, and I think this I use in my personal life quite a lot. Anytime I work with data, I build a dashboard or a visualization at a very early stage. a lot of time people will say, we need to finish the project. We need to have all the data before we started working with dashboards. To me, the earlier you build a dashboard or a visualization, the better you can manage your project, because the moment the data goes into a dashboard, you can start seeing things very differently. You can start identifying where the issues are, so you fix them early rather than waiting for your data project to finish before you address that. So these are some of the ways, we work with our customers to address roadblocks to the use of data, because as it was mentioned, without data, there is no AI, there is no ML. Praveen ji?
Thank you, Naveen ji. My fifth question to Atul ji is, what role does technology have in enhancing skill sets, attracting new generation workers, and retaining skilled workers? So your views, sir. And then we will come to the last question, with respect to collaboration and partnership. In the meanwhile, if delegates have any questions to ask, they can write it down in the chat window. So after the panel discussion, we will take it up, and we will also announce the winners before we end this panel discussion. So over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Pravin ji. I think that's a very pertinent question. Quickly, as you said, we need to be extremely precise. So, this is an assessment, independent assessment. What has come out is only around 15 to 20% of the graduates who come out of the institutions are getting gainful employment, which means that at least 70-80% are kind of searching for jobs, or so to say jobless, which puts us in a spot wherein how do we skill them, and how do we skill them at least with least of expenses. So using technology, it's a very democratized way of learning, wherein anybody who's keen to learn today, you have a lot of these videos available. And if I talk about our company, what we have started doing is we have conducted more than 25 odd workshops within the enterprise only on use cases of AI and generative AI over the last 6-7 months, which means that we are not just looking at departments to tell us what use cases of AI are possible, but we are first advising them, telling them the art of the possible, that this is what some companies have done, this is what this technology can potentially do, so that we can imbibe those digital know-how first, and then they can also think through how it can be applied in real time in their respective functions, be it in finance to track account payables, receivables, or bank statements, automating the bank statements updates, reconciliations, making faster reconciliation, that also we are doing. So we are engaging with banks also, but all of this needs individuals to reskill, upskill themselves, unlearn first, and then learn these new themes. So that's the broad thing. And just I will take 10 more seconds to highlight that while we are talking about the whole chemical, the theme today for chemical industry, we need to understand that today we are almost amongst the top 6 producer of chemicals in the world, and we are growing at a CAGR of almost 10% annually. But to sustain this growth and to grow to maybe amongst the top 2-3 producers, we need to reorient the way we work, the way we use technology. And to do so, we will first have to make sure that our workforce becomes skilled enough, upskilled, to be able to adopt this technology without friction. First, to make sure that they do not fear loss of their jobs, because that's one fear. They will always believe that if you automate, what will happen to their job? So it has to be that it is not humans versus technology, it is human plus technology, so that the productivity goes to a very different level than what is today, and we do more with less. That's the theme. Thank you, Prashant.
Thank you, Atul ji. Now we come to the last part, which is the collaboration and partnership. And the survey also talked about, if I recall correctly, is the roadblocks in optimizing data, which was from multiple solutions from different vendors, and it was around 55%. So with that into focus, how collaboration and partnership will help organizations move up the value chain? What impact do you think data sharing will have amongst vendors, OEMs, partners, and customers could have on chemical companies in general? So we start with Krishnakumar ji and followed with Naveen ji for his final thoughts.
Yeah, so collaboration and partnership are the key strategies for every manufacturing organization because it helps us to move up the value chain, and this brings transparency across the partners. They can leverage each other's strength, which will help them to do faster innovation, improve efficiency, and create more value for the customer. So I can share a few examples where digital technologies help to improve the collaboration. So one example could be, digital transport management solution, where the collaboration between the transporter, plant location has been improved, and it has really helped to give better visibility to the customer by putting a device on their truck which is carrying the material, so that every stakeholders gets informed when the material is going to come, whether they are coming with the right condition on which it was supposed to be shifted. So this has really helped to improve the efficiency in the overall logistic value chain. The other example I would like to share about organization are partnering on the waste management. So they are trying to work with the customer, with the recycling organization, and try to see how we can reduce the overall waste. How do we really recycle some of the materials? And this is also one of the good use case for the collaboration. And certainly manufacturing organization cannot get digital skills, and even we found that there is a lack of digital skills available in the industry and in the university. So generally manufacturing organization should partner with the technology startup organization. They work together, which will help them to innovate faster and which will help them to provide better experience to the end user customers. So thanks, that's from me.
Naveen ji, your views, sir?
So Pravin, I would go back to the same subject of focusing more on industrial data. And I think we have created this Connect platform essentially for the purpose of collaboration and data sharing in a secure environment. So what is Connect? It's essentially an AVEVA cloud platform. We are using commercial cloud providers like Azure, but we are adding our own elements of security, transformation, and so on to it. Now, I'll take a few examples of how people have benefited using this platform for improving the value chain or improving the value or the benefit. In my presentation, I talked about two examples of one was Hen, which was a company which was getting something manufactured from one company. Those parts were being used in another company. The other example we used was of IG IVAX and Lytics, where IG IVAX was an operator. Their operators did not understand the operating points very well. They were just operating is based on experience. And they went to an AI company called Lytics, who was providing the most optimal operating conditions, temperature, and pressures, which then appeared to them as an advice, which they could then implement in the plant. Now, the other examples of this that we have seen is, a sharing with your service provider. We have had REG. REG is a renewable energy. They partnered with one of their turbine providers, where the turbine provider was getting data in real time using the Connect platform, and then monitoring the performance of turbine and telling them back when something was going wrong. Recently, in one of the companies in Southeast Asia, we are still working through the approval process, so I can't name them. They have shared the data on their sulfur recovery unit with the licensor. Earlier, the data was being shared offline for the licensor to look at the data and provide inputs on how the performance could be used. But today, it is completely through the Connect platform. They get real-time data, and then they can provide feedback in real time as well. The last example I would take here is sharing of data between various locations of the same company, right? As you know, there are different plants, different locations. Some of the companies may be also having plants in different states or even internationally in different parts of the world. How do we bring the data together? So another concept that we have seen going forward, or we have seen around the world, is a concept of remote operation centers, right? Now, this may not, and these have been existing in the plant. And I'll take one example of that is a company called Air Liquide. And I'm talking because they have presented at our user group meetings. They have a remote operations center, about a few of them across the world, through which they manage all their plants. So they have one in KL, through which they're managing all Air Liquide facilities across Asia Pacific, except China. There are people who manage, who look at the equipment performance, and if they see a reliability issue, they would communicate to that plant, and then that plant would take action on that. Right? And they have, I think, 4 or 5 around the world to manage all their assets. So as Krishnakumar mentioned, how they have used this, we are coming in that you have a use case, we have a platform to enable it. And we are opening the platform to partners, to ecosystem providers to develop their own applications. To push data into Connect, we have a program, we have defined standards. They can push the data, and they can even take the data, do the AL calculation, and put it back. The example he gave on the truck, we are working on a similar concept in the mining industry, where there are a lot of trucks which are going into the pit and bringing the data. So we are trying to bring the data into Pi so that it becomes meaningful, it can be used by other people. I'm conscious of time, so I'll stop there, Pravinji, and happy to take any questions or any follow-up discussions.
See, there are 4 questions which I could see in my chat window. You can also look at it. The first is from Mr. Ravindra Gadre from Apcotex, and his question is with respect to data cyber security in AI. So I think Subhash was the best person to answer. So who will take it up from the panel?
I can take it up.
Yeah,
so I think it's a very pertinent question, because till this topic around digitalization in chemicals and allied industries was not as active. No, we had these proprietary control systems which had a air gap between IT and these OT systems. But now when we're talking about IT OT integrations, these the air gap is blurring, or it's getting removed, eliminated, which means that it's not just the IT systems. If there is a cyber attack, it's not just the IT systems which may get compromised or are vulnerable, but it can also have a bearing on the OT or the process control systems. This would not just lead to data leakage or any other issue, but it can also lead to loss of lives, because the process is such that it can cause a safety hazard or a health hazard or a big risk operationally. So it is extremely contingent and a critical aspect that whilst we take the steps towards digitalization, we need to make sure that the data and the cybersecurity aspects are well considered during the stage of inception of setting up such a digital architecture of connecting these disparate control systems to the IT systems. And it should not be an afterthought that now that we have done that, let's try to do something as a cover up. So that, and it has to be also, you need to make sure that you have the best industry experts do that. Many a times you go to an IT partner, they may not understand OT at all, let me tell you. So choosing the right partner, choosing the right technology for cybersecurity, especially for the IT OT integration, is extremely, extremely critical. And once you have done so, get it audited by a third party to make sure that whatever visible gaps are there, that also gets plugged before you go live and expose your industry or your company to a large risk. That's my thought.
Thank you, Atulji. The next question is to Partha ji, Krishnakumar ji, and Rajesh Tripathi ji for short answers. How does small companies go into digitization and improve efficiency? So if you can give 1 point each, that would be better. To start with,
could you repeat that? What was the question?
how does small chemical companies go into digitization and improve efficiency? And this question is from Nitin Thakur.
I've given my thoughts on the text itself, so maybe others can pitch in their views.
My small thought on this, they should very specifically, work on a proof of concept. In the proof of concept, they will come to know what are the different difficulties, what we would like to look at it, what kind of benefits, so that you are fully, knowing what's the way, where I am going, what for I am looking at it, what kind of improvements I am looking at it, what kind of resources are required, and actually what you got and what difficulties you have really faced. That gives a very sweet and sour kind of feelings to at the end of the projects, and thereby you scale up and enjoy the the benefits.
Rajesh ji, your view, sir?
I think for a small company or big company, first let them decide the objective, because digitization is not the objective. So if business objective is clear, they want to improve yield, they want to improve efficiency, they want to improve productivity. The second questions to come, what I need to achieve this? What they need is to be digitized, because what they need, the data, and the data where they are storing, what form they are storing, how they will retrieve and how they will use. But first and foremost comes the business objective. I think then everything drives. The second key points, don't use different platforms or use open data source wherever it is possible. So you do not get stuck up that there are permissions required to send the data. There are costs involved in sending the data. These are the two things, very important.
Krishnakumar ji, your view, sir?
What data we want and how it is going to help us. But people should start with small proof of concept, small cases where they are able to leverage the benefit. And I think cybersecurity is very important. So as we start consuming data, okay, we should not ignore cybersecurity aspects. We should put up proper security measures when we are connecting IT and OT. And there are technologies available. Probably if I talk about before 5 years, I think technology were not there. But now there are good technology available which can give you good safeguard in terms of protecting your OT assets, and which will help organization to accelerate their journey towards digital transformation.
Thank you, Krishnakumar ji. One last question, which is from Vamsi Krishna. Software which can help in automating R&D processes like route of synthesis scouting, raw material costing, patent infringement and analysis. So I request Naveen ji if you can answer this.
Can you repeat the question?
How for R&D processes, which software can be used for automation? Which is and the three use cases are route of synthesis scouting, raw material costing, and patent infringement and analysis.
I'm sorry here. I don't think I'll have an idea offhand.
Okay.
I think if somebody can drop me an email, I can check.
These topics are extremely, I would say they are very, very R&D and driven. So, and of course, one would need to engage with the likes of maybe the AWS or a partner from Google Cloud Platform, who they can guide you that which specific LLM models can help you basically navigate and supplement your effort, so that the whole synthesis process and the product development cycle is fine-tuned and fast-tracked, so to say. And
I think Krishnakumar ji has his hand up as well. Maybe he wants to say something.
Yeah. Actually, I have some experience on R&D process automation or digitization. So, especially in the chemical industry, okay, there are electronic lab notebook solutions available. Digitize your discovery to formulation or large scale production. And in my past experience, I used Revity. Revity Signals is the product, and it really gives a lot of to digitize the entire R&D value chain.
Any other question in the chat window? Let me thank all my speakers who took time out and to spend time with us and try to educate and mentor us. First, Mr. Subhash Singh, CISO and Head Enterprise Architect, DFPCL. Mr. Atul Govil, Chief Transformation Officer and Head SAP and IT India Glycols Limited. Mr. Rajesh Tripathi, Senior Vice President Projects Engineering and IT SRF Limited. Mr. Krishnakumar Pandey, Head IT Epsilon Corp Private Limited. Mr. Partha, Senior General Manager Technology, Haldia Petrochemicals Limited. And last but not the least, Mr. Naveen Kumar, Vice President Chemical Segment, AVEVA. I would also request those delegates who can rank us on a scale of 5 on your chat window. That will definitely help us to improve. And if you have any concerns related to, please also jot it down for us. So please rate us on how we have performed. And this is a cumulative effort of all the speakers and people and also the AVEVA team who has helped us in designing the questionnaire, providing the survey, and then a presentation from Naveen. Let me also announce the winners for today's ASEAN Play and Win contest. The first question was with respect to from the success stories presented, what is the name of the customer using AVEVA process simulation for developing and commercializing new biopolymers? The right answer was Covestro. And here the winner is Sriram Naidu, Expanded Polymer Systems Private Limited. So he is the winner. A big thank you to Sriram Naidu from all of us. Congratulations, sir. The second part was with respect to from the success stories presented, what is the name of the AVEVA product solutions being used by Albemarle, which has resulted in savings in excess of $50 million, including initiatives and related to sustainability net zero commitments. And here the question was AVEVA Pi system, and the answer has come from Khilan Shah of Monarch AIF. Congratulations, Khilan. And the third question was with respect to from the success stories presented, what is the name of the solution where AVEVA has deployed a central command center, bringing data from multiple sites, multiple systems together on a single video wall with drill down capability? The answer is AVEVA Unified Operations, and the winner is Mr. Ravindra Jadhav from Dasher. So congratulations to all the winners, Mr. Sriram Naidu, Mr. Khilan Shah, and Mr. Ravindra Jadhav. Let me also thank all my delegates who took time out. There were around 650 odd registrations. Around 200 people have attended our event. So thank you all the delegates. And in case you are not able to attend, we will put the video on our website in the event section. So you can have a look at it. We will also transcribe the entire text and put it as a story and send it to all our newsletter subscribers. In case you have not subscribed to our newsletter, please subscribe to us. So many thanks to the delegates who participated in today's event, and also to all my team members of Indian Chemical News who brought this and for making it a grand success. Let me thank once again everybody, my all panelists, and say namaste to all from here in Delhi. I am Pravin Prashant signing off to meet you again with a new topic.